Good morning, Bernard, and thank you for joining us today for this short interview. You look very smart as a CEO. I'm very happy to have you today to ask you some question about our relationship, and more specifically about your company, what you are doing currently, what is your positioning in terms of product, and afterwards we will come back on other topics if you agree. So my first question is this one today. So can you introduce us Adaptiv Networks? What are you doing, and the positioning of your company today on the market?
Sounds good. Thank you very much. Adaptiv Networks is a company I created in late 2018 by really putting three companies together to create a pure play SD-WAN technology vendor. So what Adaptiv Networks does to differentiate itself in a market that's fairly broad is really focus on bringing simplicity to the IT problem of having connectivity to applications that are required for the purpose of the digital transformation of businesses. And we do that by offering a very simple to use, simple to buy, simple to operate SD-WAN solution, but without compromising on the outcome. So our venture, our quest is really to create that simplicity so that the end customers can truly benefit from the advantages that SD-WAN brings towards the digital transformation. So as part of that, we have a certain number of technology partners, and Olfeo is one of them. And we operate in the world today. We have customers in about 60 countries. For the last 5 years, we've been developing a new generation product, which was released late last year. And we're very excited about the future of Adaptiv Networks.
Okay, thank you, Bernard, for this first answer. As you said, you are using our product. So you began to use our Olfeo SaaS application database into your SD-WAN solution. Can you tell us a bit more about it, and how do you qualify the database itself, and which quality or characteristic of the SaaS application DB you will be able to retain if you have to give us 2 to 3 points, 2 to 3 main characteristics?
Yeah, so the SaaS database from Olfeo is quite a unique product, actually. There's a number of products out there for URL DNS classification, but one that's focused specifically on business applications, which is structured in a way that is very logical for business users. There are not that many out there in the market, and we felt that Olfeo's product was both compact, cost-effective, but very well designed for business applications. It was really catering to the notion of discovering the payload that traverses the network, and being a platform that is always updated by Olfeo means that the data is always relevant. And effectively, that kind of database is largely replacing what we were using before, which were DPIs. So we were using DPIs. In fact, we still have some DPIs in our previous generation products. But when we started the venture of developing our new generation product, we were going for what we call first packet inspection, which means that you need to be able to detect the application on the first packet. And that's critical so that you can do real-time routing of the packets without breaking flows. So DPI was not relevant for that. Also, the performance characteristics of using the platform of Olfeo was really good from our estimation. So performance, cost, and relevance to the market would be the three primary reasons. On top of that, I will point out that our relationship with Olfeo, it was easy to work with Olfeo, and that also played a role.
Yes, you just recently talked about the URL, which is one of the other database we are selling on the market today, and you have recently integrated this URL DB into your product for new functionality. Can you tell us a bit more about this integration as well, and the use of this URL database within your environment?
Yeah, absolutely. So the new generation product that we started to develop in the sort of late 2019 or 2020, which has now been released, first release of it was late last year, one of the design goals of that new generation SD-WAN product was to really be a security-enabled product. So as part of that, we wanted to have multiple. So first of all, the SD-WAN product itself already has a certain amount of security capability, DDoS protection, encryption, IP obfuscation. There's a ton of security capabilities in the base product. But we wanted to go well beyond that, such as providing basically URL filtering or secure web gateways capability. And in that context, that's where the Olfeo URL database was relevant, because we needed to go beyond the scope of the business applications. We needed to go to the scope of all of the potential destinations, both good and bad destinations, in fact. And that's where the URL database from Olfeo really came into play. So that was integrated in the product we call Cloud Protect. That's a very recent product, just was released in late last year. And that product really, again, follows the same principle of what we've done thus far, which is to bring simplicity so that people can truly enjoy a better level of security in that context. So that product utilizes the URL database in order to filter traffic that could be unwarranted, such as malware or any traffic with security risk. Again, a bit similar to the SaaS database, the logic of the classification by Olfeo was very relevant, and we were able to use it to really sort of fairly easily bring a product that was very simple to use.
Finally, how would you describe the relationship with Olfeo in terms, I would say, all the components? Because first of all, I believe that, and you already answered a bit the question by saying initially that yes, we are a provider of very well-positioned product, well-structured product when we were talking about the SaaS application DB. But more generally speaking, how do you describe the relationship between Adaptiv and Olfeo today?
I think generally speaking, it's been quite easy to work with Olfeo. The good level of responsiveness, account management has been excellent. But the product also is robust. I mean, this is a good product. So it's really been a mix of good product, good service, and good sales support. Is what made Olfeo stand out. In reality, when we had a really good relationship on the basis of the SaaS database, and when it was time to look at a URL database, it was obviously we're going to look at Olfeo first, which is actually Olfeo's core competency. Is that URL database. In the first place, the SaaS database came, if I'm not mistaken, after the actual URL database. So it made a ton of sense. And we, of course, also looked at basically free options, because there are URL databases that are free in the market. And this is where the management of the database, the classification of the database is key. That is where a free option really becomes a problem, because you sell a commercial product and you have no ability to actually control what goes into your product. So if you have something that's poorly classified, something that is missing, there's no path to actually get that updated. With the relationship we have with Olfeo, we can easily make updates to the database, and that's part of a real sort of a managed solution as opposed to just a database.
Thank you very much. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you very much, and